actually going to move one thing off this agenda tonight.
Okay.
The library board. I'm still
Okay.
there's a.
Have you got a candidate?
We do, but she's kind of wanting all the details.
Who is it?
Ann Wood, the media coordinator from school. So I think she will do, but I'd rather make sure she's firm. We'll do it next month if that's okay.
Yeah. All right, good evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, good evening to everyone and fellow board members and Dr. Johnson and Ms. Hitch to our May board meeting. Graduation's just around the corner. Everybody's had a chance to review our open session minutes from our April meeting. If there are no changes to that, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand, and motion carries. Everybody's had a chance to review our closed session minutes from our April meeting. If there are changes, we'll have to make those in closed session. If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Do we have any additions or deletions to our agenda tonight?
Yes, sir. We're actually going to ask to remove item 7A, which is the appointment of a member of the Library Board of Trustees. We're not ready to take action on that or present that yet tonight.
Okay, if everybody will make that change on your agenda, 7A will come off tonight, so I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. And motion carries. All right, moving right on to good news.
Good evening. Mr. Canfield and KJ and Joey. Oh, there he is. I'm excited to bring to you this month's Rotary Student of the Month. First, from Pamlico County Middle School, we have Kendall Outlaw Jr., also known as KJ. Mr. Rice Snyder had this to say about KJ. KJ is the epitome of a well-rounded individual. Recognition for KJ by the Rotary Club of Pamlico County is well-deserved. He has an unwavering work ethic that is an example to each and every one of his classmates. He is diligent and determined to always work very hard and do his absolute best. KJ is both academically and athletically accomplished and achieves excellence in the classroom and on the football field. He is also kind and gentle and always puts the needs of others before his own. He has an infectious sense of humor that lifts spirits when they are down and creates levity and laughter among his peers when needed. Even with all of his activities and accomplishments, KJ maintains a well-balanced life in all areas. He is respectful and inspiring to all who know him, a source of pride for his family and school, and a true role model for his peers. The Rotary Student of the Month for Pamlico County Middle School, Kendall KJ Outlaw Jr. Congratulations. Next, from Pamlico County High School, we have Joseph Gross. Ms. Lynch, she had this to say about Joseph. Joseph, fondly known as Joey, by his classmates and teachers, exemplifies all of the characteristics of a Cat 5 cane. Joey is a wonderful contributor in the classroom. His perspective is unique, refreshing, and he challenges his classmates to analyze literary works in a new way. He is conscientious of his grades, and his work ethic is always exemplary, evidenced by straight A's in all of his classes this year. Joey is also thriving in the culinary program. What sets him apart is his willingness to step outside of his comfort zone and try new things in the kitchen. He works hard at both school and home to perfect his craft. He assisted in preparing a gourmet breakfast for Senator Sanderson's recent visit to our school. Joey is also a student athlete who excels on the field. Watch out for him. He is definitely a game changer. He takes pride in organization and fair play. His willingness to participate in physical education on any team, his display of sportsmanship during competition, and all-around spirit makes him a pleasure to coach. Joe is very involved in Skills USA, serving as the secretary on the leadership team. He has successfully competed in the culinary division, most recently representing our school and community at the State Leadership and Skills Conference in Greensboro, North Carolina. It is with great pride that I recognize Joey Gross as this month's Rotary Student of the Month. Congratulations.
So the 20th, this May, I will have the privilege to give 13 $500 cash awards for the top 13 students in Pamlico. So that's for the Rotary. And we're interviewing students. We have 13 applications, so I've already warned them that it won't be 2. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to come up there. Mr. Rice said he was excited. Well, I'm super excited. If Lucas and Lori Beth will come up here, please. They don't like me for doing this to them, so it's okay. But y'all gotta stand on this side, not behind me. You can't hide tonight. We talk about constantly CTE building partnerships, and one of the partnerships we have worked on very hard has been Bosch. And Bosch has opened up their apprenticeship program again. And we were fortunate enough to have 2 young people to apply for this apprenticeship and get it. And I was asked from a CDC in Havelock High School, well, how much do you think this is worth? Because somebody wants to know. And I sat down and I figured out my math. And what I figured out, this is worth like $50,000 a year to these 2 individuals. Mm-hmm. So what they were doing is Bosch selected them to be apprenticeships in the mechatronics program, which is dealing with machines and robots and all kinds of other cool stuff that Bosch has inside their plant. And they will send them to Craven for 3 years. And it's 3 years, because, not 2, because they will go back and forth between Craven Community College and the Bosch plant. The cool thing is, when they start on August 8th, I think, is your first day of school, how much money do you make when you walk into the front door of Craven Community College? How much? $18 an hour to go sit in class all day long and never lift a finger besides learn. When I tell other kids that, they're like, I'd really enjoy school a whole lot more if I made it. I'm sure it'll make it more bearable, but the more they go into, they learn at Craven and then go back into the Bosch factory, their pay will increase. And then at the end, they're Bosch employees. The other thing they'll tell you, because 18-year-old students do not get this, but adults do, they also get benefits. Insurance, 401k, retirement, and things like that. I think it's 30 days, so 30 days from August 8th. It said August 38th. No, I get it. It's September 8th. But anyway, they will start getting benefits from working at Bosch. So I'm very excited for them. I'm very proud of them. And then on the other hand, too, if they decide that they want to go get a bachelor's degree from NC State University or ECU, as long as they keep their grades up, Bosch will pay for their stuff. So they go to school, they pay their tuition bill, and then they give it back to Bosch, and Bosch gives them their money back. So they get a 2-year degree and a 4-year degree and whatever else complements of Bosch. I'm sad that we didn't have 5 kids standing up here, because I think we could have pushed them through if we'd have had 5 candidates. And that other school down the street across the bridge, they probably would have got none, because she kept asking me, do we have anybody else? And I was sad that we didn't have anybody else. But I'm very excited to present to you Lori Beth Dunn and Lucas Bailey. We expect good things out of them. So.
Can I just ask a real quick question? Could you how did the relationship develop between you and Craven Community College and that program?
I met some wonderful women from the Chamber of Commerce, and they gave me this address and told me I need to call this woman. And I our manager named JJ, and we've become friends ever since. And JJ will send me stuff all the time and say, "You want to bring kids over?" I'm like, "Sure, how many can I bring?" And she'll be like 10 or less because of the magnitude of what's going on in Bosch and safety hazards. So I would get kids and we'd carry them over there, and they're very willing to work with our students, and they want them just as quick as we can hand them out to them. And I told her, I said, "Whatever you want, I'll try my best to find you, because I want that relationship to keep going." I also want these other big businesses around here to continue to do the same thing, like Nutrient and FRC East and everybody else, or anybody else you know. You can email me and give me a name, because I'm not scared to call. You know what I mean? What you're going to tell me is no. And I thank you, we appreciate it. So, but building those partnerships and getting stuff in is what I look to do, and I'll talk with anybody, I'll meet with anybody, and if you got a name, just email me and we'll try to set it up. But it was just the right people were.
Also in the college with Craig.
Oh, well, they work with Craven because Bosch has built $1 million business on Craven's campus.
At the vote center.
No, on campus, on the main campus. And they have the Bosch building, and what happens in there is they train students for mechatronics, which goes straight into Bosch, and they also have a training program for maintenance for, it's either International Paper or Weyerhaeuser, depending on who owns them this week. You know what I mean? But they've set up these industries to go straight in. What do you need?
There is
and we will
Weyerhaeuser
give it
and
for you.
IT right side by side.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah, but y'all know anybody, send them my way, I'll talk to them. So, we want more kids to have these opportunities. So, but thank y'all.
Maybe not. No. I need to talk to her.
Hello, everyone. Does anyone see the present button?
Hit that little screen down at the,
Bottom right.
here comes Henry. He'll help you. There you go.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Wayne, if I haven't met you. And my role is technically the college advisor at Pamlico County High School. But I entitled this presentation College Advising Plus because to me, my role is more than just getting kids into college, because college is what every one of our seniors needs. And Mr. Prescott invited me to talk about the event Senior Sunset that we're holding as a celebration for our seniors. But I kind of took this opportunity to run with the platform and share with you guys a little bit about my role, what I do, and why I'm here, and then to celebrate some of our senior class's accomplishments. So, what's this? All right, so I'm just gonna briefly, like I said, introduce myself, and then I'm gonna share with you guys some of my strategic approaches to advising, some results in the form of data that we've seen this year with our seniors, and then get to that Senior Sunset celebration. So all you really need to know about me is that I went to UNC Chapel Hill, and through my time there, I learned about a program called the Carolina College Advising Corps. And essentially, we're a program that places advisors all across North Carolina in typically under-resourced, rural, or low-income areas to help promote a college-going culture. Because we ultimately believe that equity in education starts with access. So I see my role as basically a bridge to say, this is what's possible for you guys, and we're gonna make that happen together. So here's some of my strategic approaches to advising. I start with, I call this sort of like my 4-stage process. So the first one is engage. So the way that I go about my advising is I've met with every senior one-on-one multiple times. And I do this because what every senior needs, what one student needs is different. Like what Lucas needed was different than what Neil, his friend who's going to NC State, needs. So then we move into this exposed stage where I think this is sort of the crux of my role, is to increase every student's awareness of what's possible. Because I know that for some kids, they've thought, I can only go in directly into the workforce. But actually, maybe there's a 2-year program at a community college down the street that'll train you to set you up to be an electrical mechanic. So I really value letting every student know what's possible for them. And within that, I move into my expect stage, where as we go about this process of planning and taking steps, I have very high expectations of them. So I want them to get used to the moment that when they walk into my office, I expect them to do good things and big things for our economy, for our society, and ultimately for our county. And then lastly, I call my summary of my job helping every kid envision a future that actually excites them. So I work with basically those 3 E's that North Carolina and Pamlico County have taken on, which is that every student by graduation would either be employed, enlisted, or enrolled in post-secondary education. So strategy is good, but it's really good if it yields results. So I wanted to share with you guys some data. I don't know if everyone can see it, but the lighter blue is data that we have from last year from the previous advisor at this time. And these 3 categories, family engagement, 1 or more applications, 3 or more applications, those are 3 of my key performance indicators. So what this means is that in terms of family engagement, which is the amount of parents that I have personally met with one-on-one to talk about their students' future, we have seen an increase of from 34% last year to right now sitting at 43%, which marks a 24.5% increase overall. And then 1 or more applications, last year at this time we were sitting at 42, and right now we're at 62, which marks I did the math on here, 44% increase. And then for 3 or more applications, which means students have applied to 3 or more schools, we've seen a 128% increase this year. And to me, that's significant because the more schools that a student applies to, the more likelihood the higher likelihood of them actually enrolling in that school. So all of this is hopefully onto employment. I wanted to basically give you guys like the senior class at a glance. So 7% of our seniors intend to enlist in the military. 22% intend to enter directly into the workforce. 7% are still deciding. 34%, and this number is going up, truthfully, as kids still work to complete community college applications today. 34% are enrolling in community college, and 30% are university bound. And then out of those 34% enrolling in community college, 27 of those students are trade bound, which I'm really proud of because that means that within 2 years they'll have jobs. And then I just wanted to give some brief admission stats that were exciting to me. All of our applicants who applied to ECU, Western Carolina, App State, and UNCW were admitted, so we didn't have a single kid get denied. All applicants to NC State were either admitted or waitlisted, so we also, again, didn't have a single student get denied. Every student that was admitted to UNC Chapel Hill, like lovely Miss Layla Prescott, received a unique admissions offer. So all of them were either offered honors college, a full ride for all 4 years, full tuition for all 4 years, or direct admittance into a highly competitive major. And then I've also been able to create a really nerdy data tracking system so that the future advisors who follow me will have Pamlico County specific data to use to actually help advise our students better. But to me, like I said, this is College Advising Plus in my head, where every future matters, not just college. So I wanted to highlight this and expand on it a little bit. That out of our 22% of our seniors who are workforce bound, if you add that into the percentage of seniors that are intending to enroll in a trade program at community college, that means that 49% of our seniors will intend to enter a trade career, and those are our highest need jobs right now. But then if you also add in those 7% who are going into the military who also have a job, and the 7% who are still deciding, which would be they're gonna go either workforce or community college, that would equal 63% of our senior class right now will be employed by 2026, which I think is cause for celebration, which now leads me to Senior Sunset. So Senior Sunset for me is sort of, I think we've had Decision Day in the past where seniors are celebrated for the next steps that they're taking, but I've noticed that Decision Day usually is all about the kids that are just going to universities. But I wanted to create a night that is special for every senior with every future path that they're taking, and for their families to actually celebrate with them. So on May 14th, next Tuesday, from 6 to 8 p.m., we'll have food trucks on the football field. ROTC has generously provided inflatables. We're gonna have this balloon moment where every senior lets go of a balloon. And I really just want this to be something that the community can come around our seniors and say, whatever is next for you is worth celebrating, and basically a physical demonstration of how proud we are and how proud I am of all of them. So that's my long spiel. Thank you.
Did you have any to apply in any HBCUs?
Yes, we did. Yes.
How many were accepted in HBCUs?
Every kid who applied was accepted to them, and I'm thinking currently right now of 5 out of 30 who are intending to enroll right now in university, so a high percentage. Thank you, guys.
I personally want to thank Rachel. My daughter is a senior, and she's had a great impact on our seniors this year, and I think the stats show it. And I hope everybody will be able to attend the senior sunset. In some ways, I hope I'm not able to attend, that we'll be still playing softball next Tuesday, so with the state playoffs. So maybe we'll be home where we can win real quick and then go over there. So, but thank you. You're doing a great job. All right, moving into public comment, we do have one person that's signed up tonight, so I need to read. The Pamlico County Board of Education welcomes the opportunity to hear from the public during its regularly scheduled meetings. The public comment period is open for members of the public, including parents and students, to voice compliments, concerns, or complaints about performance of school personnel, implementation of board policy, the quality of the education program, or school facilities. According to Policy 1326, presentations are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Obscene, vulgar, or profane statements, personal attacks, and insults and statements reasonably perceived to be disruptive or imminently threatening to the orderly operation of the meeting shall not be permitted. So at this time, Josh.
Good evening, everybody. I know y'all are used to seeing me in a different capacity here, but tonight I am representing the Pamlico Partnership for Children as a board member of that organization. I also have with me Ms. Susan Bridgman, who is the Executive Director of the Pamlico Partnership for Children. We also will give a shout out to Mr. Jamie Gibbs, who serves on that board as well. Our main point tonight is to just thank Pamlico County Schools for their support of the Pamlico Partnership for Children, really since its inception over the last 17 years. Based upon a little bit of history we received, it started out as the Care Mobile parked over at the primary school. From there in 2007, Principal Linda Ollison moved the group to a classroom in the facility itself. Michelle Shields, as many of you are familiar with, I mean, these programs have made impacts on most of our lives here in this building. I know they've done a lot for my own children. But like I said, we went from the Pamlico Primary School to Fred Anderson, and that has brought a lot of just valuable learning opportunities for those students that participate in those programs. And we are very thankful to have the support of the school system to be able to accommodate those students. In fact, Michelle's son, Reagan, is a senior this year, and that happened right before she was pregnant with him, and now he's a senior. So a lot of time has passed, but a lot of positive gains have become of this program. I'm gonna turn it over to Susan.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for letting me speak for a moment. I may go over a little bit for being here, and for just, I want to thank you. I'm here to thank you for your support of Pamlico Partnership, and the way you support us most right now is you provide a classroom, a very nice classroom space at Fred A. Pamlico Partnership is one of the Smart Start, which is North Carolina Partnership for Children network partners. We were established in 1994. Our goal is to educate children early, between the ages of 0 and 5. There is a Smart Start partnership in every county in North Carolina. We all operate just a little bit differently, but we do have one important focus, and again, that is to educate and care for children in the most formidable years of their life when they are like sponges. Our focus is kindergarten readiness. We feel that it leads to overall school success and life success. We actually run 2 programs currently out of Fred A. We run a community play and learn group, which is a 3- and 4-year-old part-day preschool. And on Wednesdays, we run a partnership play group, and that is a play group for children 0 to 3. They come with their caregiver. They are learning social skills, parenting skills, and peer support. The classroom benefit. The gift of the classroom allows the children space to learn through creative play, learning, centers, art, music, reading, and more. And yes, early education is important for us, but we see other skills through the classroom. We see walking in the hallway quietly learned, finding your cubby, putting your homework folder where it belongs, visiting the lunchroom, and more. As the young students prepare to enter kindergarten, they know the feel of a classroom. They know the feel of a school building. So when starting kindergarten, they feel more at ease, and we also feel the parents do too. And the fenced playground. It's a bonus. Thank you. It is providing a safety for running and playing with lots of room for hand-on creative outdoor learning. The students have recently planted plants which they watch grow, and a bird feeder to watch the birds. And if you have an opportunity to visit our playground, you may find all the little pretend cars lined up near the little pretend house, which is the McDonald's, and they're having a drive-through. The kids are waiting for the drive-through. Or you could visit the water tables outside where mud pies are being made. We have many stories on how the programs have affected students and how grateful the families are to such a positive and fun start to education. And we thank Pamlico County Schools for the gift, not only to us, but to our community. We are grateful, very grateful for the donated class space. The outcomes and impact that are visible from our programs would not be the same without the space. We are pleased to partner with Pamlico County Schools now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we're going to move on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Prescott. We'll go down the agenda here to give you the membership report. Pamlico County Primary School, as of May 1st, have 313 students. That is a difference of +1. We did lose a student at Fred Anderson, so they have an enrollment of 156 now. Lost a student at middle school, they're at 250, and 2 students at the high school. So 3 students overall, less 3 students overall, so a grand total of 1,147 students as of May 1st. I tell you, it was kind of hard to sit here quietly listening to all the good things happening. Ms. Wayne really talked about the opportunity. You can't help but be energized listening to Mr. Carowin talk about the great things happening with our Bosch apprenticeships. But April really was a big month for Pamlico County Schools. I'm not going to try to steal principal's thunder. They're going to share some things with you, I'm sure, and then they'll have that much more to share about what's happening in May, because it's a busy month. But just want to share with you just a quick recap. We had Farm to School Week a couple weeks ago now, and my goodness, it was amazing. So kudos to Ms. Mancinas for arranging that. We had something literally every day, and involved all of our schools. On Tuesday, we had an expo at the primary school where we had the opportunity to sit and eat lunch with some of the local farmers. They brought in equipment, and all the students got to see that as well that morning. We had an expo at the middle school on Thursday of that week as well, where students got to see some equipment, ask questions. It involved a lot of the high school and middle school agricultural education students, giving them a chance to talk to their peers about agriculture in Pamlico County. And then lastly, we had the opportunity to, I was able to judge a culinary competition myself, Mr. Gibbs, Mr. Rice. I was a rookie, admitted at that. They brought out food to taste, and Miss Lanchey as well. They brought whole plates. It wasn't just a bite, and I didn't know. I was a novice. I'm good at eating, but there was too much food. We had 5 different things to judge. It was really great. All the while, our Skills USA students, who you all saw this past month, did a presentation, and a month or so ago with our middle school students, they participated in the state competition in Greensboro. We have several state champions. Kudos and congratulations to Miss Hale, and she is anxiously working to gather funds and all the things needed to take them to Atlanta, Georgia, to represent North Carolina at the National Skills Convention in June. So that's pretty exciting. Our NJROTC just got back this past month from a national competition in Daytona Beach. They also qualified for a Leadership and Academic Bowl. That'll be a competition in June in Washington, D.C. They were also recognized as a distinguished unit with honors, and Captain Rodriguez told me that's one of 2 in North Carolina to get that distinction, which is amazing. Mr. Carowin arranged for a Be Pro, Be Proud truck to come in, and what that is a virtual simulator of all sorts of trades. Students had a chance to drive an 18-wheeler virtually, had a chance to drive operate a skidder, a crane, do some welding. It was really amazing, and all of our students that participated in that enjoyed it. I was able to go and meet with the good folks at Bosch, separate meeting from our apprenticeship meeting. We have been working with them over the past several years, have received several grants. We talked about that earlier in the year, some virtual reality opportunities to put some equipment in our HVAC classes. And I was able to go over and really thank them personally for that. And also that was the kickoff of the next round of grants. Mr. Carowin said he has submitted our new grant application today. So that's a good thing. 5th grade trip went to Outer Banks. The art classes went to the Raleigh Art Museum. The band boosters had a golf tournament at Minnesota that I played at it. We were not very good, but my son's good. I think I brought him down. His back got tired of carrying me. So it was a good time, well attended, a lot of fun. And then finally, and all of this really basically happened in a week. I'm just rattling on and on. I say all that to say, man, there are good things happening in Pamlico County schools. Be proud of our county. It's awesome. Miss Harwick put together a video. One of the highlights of the month for sure was our Special Olympics that we hosted out here in the stadium. She made a quick little video to compile all of that, and we're going to show that real quick too, if you'll indulge us. thank you for showing that, Ms. White. And thank you, Ms. Harwick, for putting it together. That, like I said, there are great things happening in Pamlico County. I do want to mention two other things that we've done. We were able to host Senator Norman Sanderson this year at the high school. That was a couple weeks ago, and we wanted to catch him before he went to the back to Raleigh. He's up there working on in the short session with the General Assembly right now. Really wanted to tell him about all the great things happening, but also soliciting his help and assistance in helping us acquire additional funds. I mean, that's what we need. I think every school system faces that, but one of the things that we wanted him to go away from here knowing is that we have so many amazing things happening. It's no coincidence that all this is happening at one time. It happens every year, and it doesn't just happen. It happens through the hard work of our teachers and staff. We were also able to eat breakfast with our county commissioners this past Friday. It was a good meeting. It's a great meeting. We want to have a renewed relationship with them. And one of the points that we tried to make with them is telling them about all the good things happening in Pamlico County. We believe from every corner of this county there is goodness and there is opportunity, and we want to continue to have the opportunities for our students, for all students. And we need their help. And so we will continue to work with them. We'll be meeting with them in the next couple of weeks, presenting our budget to them. And if you all see them, tell them we need their help because we do. But I just wanted to, again, thank everybody who's making all of these things possible, particularly our teachers. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we have some of the very best in North Carolina working right here in Pamlico County, and we want to do everything we can to show them how much we appreciate them and do everything we can to keep them right here in Pamlico County too. So thank you for that. This time, we're going to do a quick new school update. One of the things we talked to Senator Sanderson about was our desire and intention to add on to our primary school and ultimately consolidate Fred Anderson and the primary school. He voiced his support for us in that. So we're looking forward to being able to put that application forth again. But in the meantime, we have a 612 school that's the process is going on. And so Mr. Rice is going to give us a little bit of an update on that.
Doesn't really look like it's going on, but it's going on.
It's going on.
I keep getting hung out to dry on this agenda. I think last month I followed Sean's comic. Now I've got to follow the Special Olympics video. Yes, I can't.
Do all you can, man.
So I've got our schedule still up here for you guys. We've already completed these pieces right here. Right now we're waiting for review. Meeting with Metcon tomorrow. Dr. Johnson, myself, and Corey will be meeting with Metcon. That's the contractors. And they're going to talk to us about the construction process and what we're going to see going on and what's going to be happening over the next 2 years. So that'll be interesting tomorrow. After that, tomorrow afternoon or evening at 5 o'clock, we've got our monthly oversight committee meeting. You're welcome to attend, but anyway, it's not much more exciting than what I'll tell you tonight. Hopefully we'll get these things approved by June 18th, and then we can start going out to bid and be ready to move on with the project. I do have something new that we haven't shown you guys yet. I'm keeping this up here just because we want to keep that August 26th in our mind so it stays there and we don't get off track on that. But if you look at this map right here, down here on the bottom is our Highway 55. In the dark gray area is the current high school that's there right now. And the reason I'm showing you this red outline is where the construction fence is going to go. So we're going to lose a lot of territory. This is Anderson Drive that's running right out here. You can see a red line runs right down in. It comes up High School Drive to just behind where the school is now and comes across all the way to the tree line that's over here and then back around and right around the edge of the track. So we're losing everything behind the high school from the edge of the track that way. until it's completed. And you can see the new building right here in this square right here. One reason I want to show you that day, because we've been talking about traffic flow for next year with our school buses and such. Right now, this road that runs between the baseball field and the football field, our buses transport kids back and forth between these two buildings every day in the morning and evening. As you can see, that road is inside this area, so we're going to lose that area. And sometime, this fence is going to go up probably mid to late September, so we're thinking that probably we will go ahead and close this road off when school starts, so we don't have to change after 3 or 4 weeks of school. So we'll be running buses on High School Drive. We think we have a plan. These schools would empty first, come down High School Drive, making a right turn with the help of an SRO onto Highway 55, back into the high school where they normally pick up, and then around the auditorium and over to the middle school, which is what we do now, except instead of coming down that road, we just stay on campus through here. You'll probably get some questions about that, so I just wanted you to have a little heads up when things start happening, especially in August when things change. Again, we're keeping our occupancy date up here. Baseball field update. We're going to bring some policy to you later on in this meeting. We're supposed to go out to bid May 24th. We're hoping with some policy changes we can ease that process just a little bit and not have to take such a long time before we have to get bids into those type of things, but we'll explain that a little bit later. And also with that happening, that would hopefully start the construction very soon from now, at least getting some trees coming down and those type of things, because we really need to get grass growing if we're going to play baseball on this field next year. And again, hopefully to be ready by February 14th of next school year. And again, this supplemental grant, the $12 million, I guess we're still waiting for official notification. We'll keep it here just so we can keep that in our minds too. And I believe that's all I have. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Rice. All right. At this time, I'm going to call on our principals, and before I do, I just want to thank our principals. Past Wednesday was Principal Appreciation Day, and I guess I do. I'm jumping over. Thank you. But I'm going to keep on with that thought. It was Principal Appreciation Day, and we thank our principals very much for what you do every day. You have a hard job, perhaps the toughest job, but we thank you for what you do. And we're going to hear from you in just a second. But before we do that, we're going to hear from Ms. Katie Brown, who also has a tough job. She is our Teacher of the Year for Pamlico County Schools. She's also the chair of our Teacher Advisory Council. We just met this past week, or a couple weeks ago now, and had really a great discussion. She's going to give you a little recap of that, and then we'll hear from our principals. Thank you.
I was really hoping you forgot about me, Dr. Johnson.
Well, it was close. Mr. Prescott's keeping me on track.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Prescott. Good evening. The Teacher Advisory Council had their second meeting on April 17th. It was a really, really good meeting, and like Dr. Johnson said, we had a lot of really good discussion. At this meeting, we added 3 new members to the council. Shervon Evans-Morris from the primary school, Melanie Brinson from Fred Anderson, and Sherry Hale from the middle school. I'm still holding on to hope for another member from the high school, Ms. Lanchi. So keep encouraging them to join. In addition to our new members, we also discussed some new business items. Teachers are able to bring up some concerns on our agenda. It's kind of like a running document that we all have access to. One of our concerns that we brought up to Dr. Johnson and Ms. Dixon were the possibility of an automated substitute system to help with the last-minute sicknesses and absences. We really felt like that was something that could be beneficial to a lot of our teachers, especially those of us with little ones, and you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and somebody's throwing up. It just kind of would help to take off some of that responsibility from us as parents, and as well as some of our staff members who can't find a substitute. end up calling 24 substitutes at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're spending 2 hours making phone calls and not one person answers the phone, and it gets a little bit frustrating. We also had some discussion about some social media board policy addendums. As you guys all know, technology right now and cell phones are becoming a huge, huge deal for all of our students. And we all kind of felt like there needed to be a policy addendum to address the growing and changing advancement of technology with cell phones in the schools, and also some just classroom disruptions that occur that stem from social media and are eventually brought into our classroom. Some new business that we discussed included teacher appreciation suggestions and ideas that Dr. Johnson and Ms. Dixon wanted us to kind of come up with ideas and brainstorm with our grade levels and our buildings. Some also discussion included the beginning of school year kickoff celebration, which will be back here before we know it, only a couple of months away from the new school year as we're closing out our current school year. To close out our meeting, we always end on a positive note, and we shared some celebrations from each school, which included the following, and I think Dr. Johnson kind of hit on a lot of those. But at the primary school, our teachers shared that the Department of Instruction visited to see how the science of reading was working in the classrooms. Our pre-K program at the primary school has seen some of the most growth that they've seen in the last couple of years on letter recognition. And our third grade shared that they grew over 10% from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year check-ins. So a lot of good things happening at the primary school. At Fred A, they had an author visit their AIG class, who was Joanna Clouster. She's also coming back each week in the future to complete some community projects with those students and the teacher. And also 5th grade was headed out on their Outer Banks trip, I believe, last week. At the middle school, 6th grade, we traveled to the Special Olympics over at the high school to close our Inclusion Spirit Week, which one of our EC teachers helped organize this year. Miss Wood at the middle school organized a meet and greet with author Alan Gratz, who is a middle grade's favorite author. He writes a lot of historical fiction. They had an hour-long meet and greet with him where they could ask questions, and he talked a little bit about all of his books. 8th grade dance was on Friday, April 19th, and a lot of students said it was a lot of fun, and the teachers also had a lot of fun who chaperoned. 8th grade also has implemented small group instruction, and they were able to share that their bottom 20% has shown the most growth across the grade level due to their intentional planning and their reflective assessments. At the high school, they shared out that Ms. Christine Wayne rocked the prom planning. Kids had a great time. Students from ROTC were participating at nationals. Skills USA was headed to Greensboro to participate in their competition. And also the Art History Club was going to head to the National Museum of Art at Duke. Our next meeting will be in June. Date has yet to be determined, but I hope I have a lot more good things to share with you all. Thank you.
No, you will. Thank you, Ms. Brown. All right. Our principal's report, it's time for that. Ms. Denny. Ms. Jackie Denny is coming, and she's the assistant principal at Pamlico Primary School. Ms. Savannah Alexander's on maternity leave. So, Ms. Denny, tell us about the primary school.
Well, that is a big thing that happened at the primary school. Ms. Alexander is out for the remainder of the year, so I'm trying to do my best to fill in. Starting, I guess, in March, we'll backtrack a little bit. We had a Title I math night. We had over 100 families attend. The high school culinary students catered a delicious spaghetti dinner that families raved about. In April, like it's been said, we hosted the Southeast Region Science of Reading RTA cohort. The regional director from DPI, Dr. Beth Metcalf, came. They toured classrooms. We had a problem of practice that we kind of worked through to get some expert advice in, and we received positive feedback from their visit. Last week we hosted a pre-K and kindergarten registration. We had a great turnout. It was just hot dogs and bounce houses. It was a great time. We had over 70 students register just at that event alone. So we're hoping for a big pre-K and kindergarten class. Obviously, this week is Teacher Appreciation. We've already started spoiling our staff. And next Tuesday, we're hosting a transition night for our rising 1st through 3rd graders. They can come and meet their next grade level teachers, tour our classroom, and kind of learn what their next grade level is about. So that's what we're doing at PCPS.
Thank you, Ms. Denny. Ms. Carter Moore.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon Carter Moore, I'm the principal of Fred Anderson Elementary School. And like Dr. Johnson said, wow, it has been a busy start to the year. In April alone, we have been very busy with field trips, as he mentioned. Our science night was a big success. We had families to come out. They engaged in hands-on activities. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of the rocket launch out front. It was amazing. The students, they had, I think, 7 minutes with their families to build a rocket and out of paper, tape, and scissors, and then see who could have it to launch the highest. And it was really fun and engaging. I believe everyone had a great time. The important thing is science, hands-on, having fun, family engagement, and so it was a really remarkable night. Outer Banks field trip was a big success. Everyone made it back. We also visited the Fossil Museum, our 4th graders, and believe it or not, our kids went to the, I think we call it the Heritage Center here. They talked more about that than I've heard them talk about anything else this school year. They were excited because they were here in Pamlico County. They were excited about the history that was right there in their backyards. So that was a really good field trip all around. I don't want to forget anything that we did in April, but I'm going to go ahead and move on. Teacher Appreciation Week, we started off this week with a bang, and thanks to our partners at the high school, a culinary team provided us with a gourmet breakfast. Our teachers and staff were excited. They could not believe that those students prepared such a delicious meal. So that was good stuff. Chef emailed me this afternoon and said, hey, how was it? And I said, you were the talk of the campus, truly. Tomorrow we are hoping to go to Camp Seafair for a field day field trip. Everyone in the building is going. It's been hard work to get those permission slips in and those fees in, but we did it, and the plan is to go rain or shine. As we approach the end of the school year, we are preparing to bid our 5th graders a farewell. I feel like those were my first set of kids, and I take ownership in them, and our teachers are preparing a exciting and special send-off for those kiddos. We're also welcoming our rising all-stars from the 3rd grade. We're gonna have a transition day where they come over, visit the school, introduce themselves to their new staff, and then that evening, not that evening, but on the 16th, the families are gonna come out and do the same thing, just to get in a feel of the school, introduce themselves to their new teachers and new staffs, and they're gonna have some surprises that night as well. I have to say this, our test coordinator, Chris Stofiak, that's our assistant principal, has been working tirelessly to get our testing sessions all set up. That girl has been working so hard, and she says you have to share that she has secured all of the proctors that she needs for the upcoming testing season, and that's thanks to a lot of the members in our community, so I'm very pleased about that. And I just want to say, as we approach the end of the school year and the beginning of a new school year, I appreciate how we all work together, because we truly have one mission, and that is the enrichment and nourishment of our students. We are truly one team, united for the success of our students, and I appreciate all of you for supporting not only Fred Anderson, but all of our schools. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Mr. Reifsteiner.
Good evening. I would like to echo what Dr. Johnson stated earlier, that we have a lot of great things going on in our district, and that is going to be evidenced by what I share tonight. Before I share that, though, we have to thank our teachers, because without our teachers, nothing that we are accomplishing right now would be doable. They put in hours and hours of practice for these competitions, and they really take these kids under their wings. So this week for Teacher Appreciation Week, we are doing raffles, food, gift cards, and most importantly, the gift of time with duty-free lunch and trying to relieve teachers of any duties that we can. I would like to thank our PTO and the community members that helped make this week possible. Miss Now graduated on Friday with her master's in school administration, and anybody that has worked full-time, tried to raise a family full-time, and go to school full-time knows how stressful that can be. So we're very proud of her. This week we're administering our third and final check-in, and we'll use that data to kind of figure out what we need to do before our EOGs at the end of May. We have several exciting events before the end of the school year. Formal invitations will be sent out to you guys shortly. However, we have our Skills USA banquet on Monday, May 20th. FFA will hold their banquet on Tuesday, May 21st. We'll host an arts night at the middle school that will showcase our chorus, band, and art students on Wednesday, May 22nd. Our academic awards will be Thursday, May 30th in the gym. Our athletic awards will be June 3rd at the high school auditorium. And lastly, one of the best events is the 8th grade promotion, and that will take place on Thursday, June 6th at the high school auditorium. I hope you guys can all attend. This is the most exciting part. I think one of the best things as a leader is getting to celebrate our people, their dedication, and the success of our kids. And Mr. Carowin texted me earlier in the week, and he was telling me that CTE directors from larger counties are texting him wondering what we're doing, how are we winning all these awards, and that's really good to hear. Skills USA did tremendously well at the state competition in April. All students, and there were 17 students from the middle school that came home with a medal. 4 students performed so well that they'll be going to nationals in the summer in Atlanta, Georgia. Addison Grant, she's a 7th grader. She'll be going for her pin design. And our team engineering composed of Maya Arrington, 7th grader, Joshua Behrens, 8th grader, and Mia Angelo, 7th grader. A special thanks to Miss Hale and her leadership. Our middle school FFA program is thriving as well. Haley Coley, a current 6th grader, has competed in the FFA Creed speaking competition. She participated in the Seashore Federation competition where she placed first out of 4 high school students. She's in 6th grade, and she placed first out of all the high schoolers. She was the only middle school student to compete and placed 5th out of 15 high schoolers. Keep in mind that she's only in 6th grade and she's outperforming all the high schoolers. She will advance to the NCFFA State Convention this summer and compete against middle and high school students. Jayla Beddard, a current 8th grader, was selected as 1 out of 20 students across the state to participate in the Poultry Science Summer Immersion Program at NC State. It'll be a 4-day hands-on program where she'll get to stay in the dorms and participate in a lot of activities. Last weekend, 8 students represented the middle school at the State National History Day contest in Greensboro. Addie Nunley, who's a current 8th grader, won the Audrey Hurd Award for her project. Miss Rothers also came home with an award as well. She won the Joseph Hughes Award, which recognizes the work of an educator in teaching the skills of critical thinking and sharing the joy of discovery through National History Day in North Carolina. Her dedication is evident. We're almost finished with sports for the year. Baseball and softball finished their seasons last week, and track is currently at their conference meet at New Bern High School. Thank you for all of your support, and please stop by whenever. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. All right, Miss Lanchey.
Good evening, everyone. I've decided to go a little bit different direction tonight. with my principal's report. As you guys know, there is always something going on at the high school level. But behind all of the accomplishments, the events, the competitions, the performances, is at least one adult who believes in our kids. They believe our students are capable. They believe they're important and valued. And they believe that our students deserve the very best education and the very best of opportunities. So I thought it was fitting that, since this week is Teacher Appreciation Week, I highlight for you what you won't see posted on social media. So junior-senior prom was a huge success. The kids were beautifully dressed and spent almost the entire evening on the dance floor. In fact, I tried to get through at one point to get to the food table, and I was not able to. But what you didn't see was the countless hours that Christine Wayne spent during her spring break building props and decor to create an event that our students will remember for a lifetime. I'm sure that most of you saw highlights from the ROTC academic meet in Washington, D.C. While they didn't bring home a medal, the experience alone was a win for our students. What you didn't see were the early morning practices Master Chief and Captain hosted to afford our students the opportunity to prepare for competition, oftentimes the first to arrive on our campus. Our softball and our baseball teams will start the first round of state playoffs tomorrow. We're super excited for them. Our softball team even secured a conference championship. But what you haven't seen are the late afternoons and early evenings spent dragging the field, or the off-the-field team building and mentorship that Coach Griffin and Coach Davis provide to our student athletes. Perhaps you saw pictures posted from the spring dance event for our adaptive students last Thursday. What you didn't get to see was our EC adaptive teacher, Miss Anderson, and her teacher assistants building confidence in their students, helping them muster up the courage to invite one of their regular education peers to attend the dance with them. You also didn't see the time they spent after hours decorating and preparing refreshments for the event. 2 weeks ago, the high school proudly hosted Senator Sanderson, as well as several members of our school board, Dr. Johnson and Dr. Patrick. But what you didn't see was our culinary teacher, Chef Reese, in the kitchen and cooking with his students at 6 a.m. to ensure that food was prepared in time and the event was a success. You didn't get to see Miss Angelo, our Skills USA advisor, helping her students prepare for their presentations to Senator Sanderson, all of which were very impressive. Right now, we have several teachers who teach both AP courses and courses with an end-of-course test or a CTE state test. But what you don't get to see are the relationships that these teachers are forging in their classrooms, the high expectations that they're setting, the time spent planning collaboratively with their teammates, and the nerves that they too are going to feel on test day. There are countless more examples, just like the ones I've just shared with you. I honestly could go on all evening speaking with you about the wonderful human beings that I'm truly lucky enough to get to serve beside each day. But I share these things as a reminder that, in the words of Jimmy Cassis, a great teacher changes everything. Ask any student who has had one. Teachers matter. And that is all I have for you.
Very much, and you are so right. A lot of the things that we've announced, and a lot of the things you see on social media is sort of like the fruit that you see on a tree or in the garden, but there is much work that goes into getting those plants producing. So truly, we appreciate everybody behind the scenes, particularly our teachers who put that time in that you don't see. Thank you for that. All right. And I appreciate everyone's indulgence as we've gone through a lengthy superintendent report. But, man, there are some good things happening in Pamlico County, and it's worth noting and talking about. This time, if there are any board members who want to share anything, please do, and otherwise I'm finished with my report.
I will. I had an opportunity of taking part on a lot of those great things. I was part of the Senator Sanderson visit. Very impressed with our student speakers, impressed with our culinary students. But what impressed me, one of the things that impressed me the most is watching the first graders playing their musical instruments and singing in unison. That was really awesome. I had an opportunity to be with a group of people welcoming the Skills USA back from the state. championship. That was a cool thing. They were, had a police escort and fire trucks and all the hoopla. Had an opportunity to participate and volunteer at the Special Olympics. What impressed me the most about that, the athletes, but also the school spirit that each school showed the athletes who were participating. Was able to participate in the culinary food judge contest. The students, as Dr. Johnson stated, had to create a meal. They was given $20 to create this meal, and that was a very impressive venture. And also took part in the farm to school, looked at a lot of the vendors, the engagement of the students, looking at the presentations, realizing that we have the only rice farm in North Carolina is located in Pamlico County. And so that all of that was impressed. The only negative thing I can say, I probably gained about 15 pounds going to all these events eating. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Yes, I'd like to say to the principals, we appreciate you and thank you for all that you do. I know that it's a huge effort on your part, and we thank you. I feel so fortunate for Pamlico County Schools that we have the principals that we have and assistant principals. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank the teachers. Ms. Lanchey was correct. We have a wonderful group of teachers in Pamlico County. I'm just amazed at all that the opportunities that are afforded for our students. It really is wonderful. The Senator Sanderson visit, Mr. Gibbs, Dr. Johnson, it was very nice. I think that Senator Sanderson really appreciated the opportunity to see all the things that we are offering for the students, and I would say that Chef Reese and the culinary students, they outdid themselves. They were so professional and so polite. I was very proud of them. And the food was very delicious also. Also at that presentation, the students who presented, they did an excellent job. I was just so proud and amazed at their presentations. It's awesome. It really is amazing to see the things that our students are doing. And the Farm to School Day was also a great event. It was so well organized, and the entire program was really nice. And so I'd like to compliment Ms. Mancinas on that. She did a great job on that. And again, Chef Reese and his students did an awesome job. So we have a lot of wonderful things going on, and it's thanks to many, many people. It takes a great team. So thank you to everybody who makes it possible.
What you don't see, piggyback off Ms. Lanchey, is a lot of our faces in the places where you go and you do so much work. But just because you don't see our faces, don't let that stop you from continuing to do what you do for our kids. We appreciate you. You may not see all of us, but just know that we hear the good work that you are doing, and we appreciate you so very much. And thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other board members? I'll echo Mr. Gibbs and Ms. Dunbar. The visit with Senator Sanderson was very well planned, very well prepared, and very impressive. Our high school students did a great job. As you mentioned, at the primary school in the music class, that was just outstanding. He was very impressed, and also, if you haven't seen the flyer that has put together on everything that's going here, everybody needs to see one of these. It's impressive. Our breakfast with the county commissioners this past Friday, I think was very eye-opening. Dr. Johnson and Ms. Altman did a great job in that preparation and really showed them where the money's going and how every penny is being well spent that we get in this county. And it's quite evident by the good news tonight, our senior sunset presentation, and then our public comment. It even tied right into everything that's happening. And then with our superintendent's report and our principal's report, great things are happening. I have not missed a softball game yet. I don't know why, but 10 more wins and we have a state championship. So our baseball team has done baseball and softball team has done outstanding this year. And I know our middle school athletics has done well. Our track team at the high school's done well this year. So through Skills USA, through FFA, through our academics, the NJROTC, athletics, it doesn't stop. Our kids have opportunities no matter where they want and anything they want. One thing I was impressed with, I think it was 63% of our students, our high school graduates, 63% will be working. I forgot what year she said it was.
26, I think.
26. So if you remember the conference that we attended in Wilmington is really a push for workforce development. 63%, so we roughly have, I think it's just a little over 100 seniors. That's pretty impressive. And she said there's still applications being completed now for students wanting to go to community college. Pamlico County Schools is definitely doing our part to make sure our students, when they leave, they're either enlisted, enrolled, or employed. So great job to all of you. I know a lot of them have left already, but y'all are just doing great work, and it shows. And this board definitely appreciates it. Like you said, Ms. Robinson, you might not see our face at everything, but trust me, we're all involved throughout the month on making sure that we're providing you with everything you need. So thank y'all.
And I'll just say again, thank you, board members. Thank you for everybody here. Thank you all. You've sat here for over an hour, and we just talked about good things happening in Pamlico County. We really haven't repeated ourselves. I mean, it's amazing the good things that are happening in this little county, and I'm just proud to be part of it. So thank you very much.
Yep. All right, now we'll try to move through the rest of it as fast as we can. So with our consent agenda, as you see there are, well, you know, our consent agenda ties right into our good news. Track team overnight trip, NJROTC overnight trip, women's basketball overnight trip, men's and women's basketball overnight trip, volleyball overnight trip, NJROTC overnight trip, FFA overnight trip, another FFA overnight trip, and Skills USA overnight and out-of-state trip. So with our consent agenda, it just shows how much is going on. So we can remove any of these individually and vote on them, or we can approve them as a whole. And if that's the board's wish, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second. Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. All right, now moving on to our instruction, our CTE local application.
You probably have to use the mouse. I don't think it's connected, the touch.
I do like a mouse. It's big enough I can see the cursor. Now let me see the little slide at the bottom.
Okay, good evening again. I have more good news to share about CTE. We, every 2 years, get to fill out this magical little document called CLNA, or known as a Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment. This is part of Perkins 5 funding, so every 2 years, we fill out this application. It goes over and shows us very interesting data of what we do good and what we don't do so good. And that's good because we need to know where we need to improve so we can be even better than we are now. Because you hear all the good things that kids are doing, we need to do more good things so more kids are included. Some of the things that we go over is our evaluation of performance, labor market alignment, size, scope, and quality, career pathways, implementation, evaluation of progress, improve, recruit, retain, and training, and equal access to high-quality CTE programs and studies for all students. Our goals. Number one is to offer, because I had to redo this year. The last cycle had passed, and we had to go in and form a new CNLA document that has to be in Raleigh by the 15th of this month. And without signatures that I got tonight and a few other documents, it'll be good to go this week. So we're way ahead of the game. We're going to offer a full continuum of industry learning and work-based learning experiences to our students. Years ago, work-based learning was taken out of our schools. And this is one thing, every year we get a 0 on the CLA because we don't offer it. So we've had the opportunity this year to bring back some experiences, and we have 7 kids registered for work-based learning, and they have jobs already. So it'll be like the old school that y'all remember DT when he used to do marketing in the back, and they used to go out and go to work. Some of them did, some of them didn't. It's gonna be a little bit better than that. We're gonna keep tabs on them and make sure they're doing what they're doing. But we had the opportunity to bring them back. We're gonna continue to develop and strengthen our relationships with industry partners. And we want our CTE staff to hold the industry recognized credentials that they offer to students. And I think I got ahead of myself because, okay, we'll go to credentials. All right, last year we had 39.8% credentials. We had 478 students earn credentials. This year, fall semester, we had 286 right to start with. So given this number, we should surpass last year, and that's what we want. But one of the things we want is all CTE teachers, if you offer a credential, it is good that you hold that credential yourself. Then that way when you're explaining to the kids the importance of or how to do something, you know because you've been there. And that makes it more relevant so you can show them, I've done this, you can do this, and how much money you can make with these credentials. Because we have a lot of credentials that kids can go right into the workforce and they can start earning good money. For example, our drones program. If you get an unmanned pilot license, you can go out and start making money at 16 years old. The other thing is going with numbers like Ms. Wayne shared earlier. 2/3 of workforce members by the year 2030 will need a high school diploma and at least 1 credential. That's for a high school graduate. They won't look at you unless you have a credential attached to your high school diploma. And we have the opportunity to offer this to our kids for free. Here's some of the credentials that we currently offer, and the state is constantly changing these, so we'll keep updating the list. Our business and industry partners. We want to expand our work with local businesses and go out. We have educational agreements with FRC East, which happened this school year about something they want to work with some of our middle school and elementary school kids. And they want our students as well. We just got to get in that loop to get our kids over there because it seems to be very difficult to get our kids employed by FRC East. And we keep going with Nutri and Bosch and other local employers. But we want to keep that pipeline going, get our kids out there, get the quality kids to go to these employers and let them get jobs and see what great things we do out in the community, because a lot of times people don't know what we do inside and what our kids are capable of. This is our budget. It stays about the same from what I was told the other day as last year until they dropped the new state budget. Some adjustments. Last year we started offering HVAC and woodworking, which are very popular courses. Woodworking, I think there's 100,000 kids signed up for woodworking next spring. I know that number's far-fetched, but Mr. Harris come to me, he said, what am I teaching next year? He said, woodworking. He said, what else? I said, woodworking. I said, you've got a ton of kids coming in. He does have some HVAC kids. Adobe Academy is very popular. Those kids make some cool stuff, some really cool stuff, and there's 2 certifications that come out of that. HVAC also has some certifications that they can go out and start working as techs when they finish that. New things we're starting to offer, and these are pretty wild. We're going to offer food animals because a lot of our kids, the need for animal agriculture is coming back. We teach companion animals now, which means like dogs and cats and small animals you buy at pet shops and chickens, or not chickens, but birds. But now we're going to start offering the major food animals like cows and pigs and sheep and goats. And no, we're not building a barn out back before anybody asks, because we're not. They'll have opportunities. Also interest in equine science. A lot of kids are into horses, believe it or not. We're going to offer turf grass because, as Mr. Rice keeps presenting about how they're going to shut down this road and shut down that road, we're also shutting down the greenhouse. And that way, so that we can get our kids to be completers so they can take the work keys test, we're going to offer turf grass 2 as a completer course, which is also good because it'll be offered in the spring about the time the baseball field's being built. So these students should gain a lot of hands-on experience working with Corey or whatever contractor is building the baseball field to learn real-life turf grass skills. We also offer a new class, biomedical technology, which goes into forensics. Ms. Taylor's very happy about this, along with Adobe Video, which is another Adobe certification kids can get. And I'm sorry, I backwards. But we have a lot of good things going on and a lot of cool things to offer next school year. The other thing is we're going to continue to offer major clarity, which is career development, so these kids can go in and figure out what they want to do when they grow up. It's really cool because it does a Myers-Briggs personality test, and then it does a learning styles test, and then it pops out what careers you should most suit you based on your answers. Sometimes they're good, and then sometimes they're really off. Because the kid will go, what's this? I'm not doing this. But it's like, it's okay. You know, there's other careers up there. And this goes along with the state mandate that'll happen next year that all kids will have a career development plan or a career plan before they graduate high school. So we're already ahead of the ball, and we've got all Thursday I'll finish the 7th grade. All the high school kids are into it. So next year when they roll out this program, our kids have already got 3/4 of it done. We just have to update and add stuff. And does anybody have any questions? All right, thank y'all. Maybe I can get it to end. There we go.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Does the board need to approve that plan, Mr. Carroll?
Yes. Yep, Tiffany's got it highlighted here for me. So, any questions on the plan? CTE is continuing to do a great job. So I do need a motion to approve the plan as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. I think Ms. Altman's already there waiting for us. We're moving on to finance.
Good evening. Just have a few housekeeping things for you, and I'm going to try to give you a good explanation of each without taking too much of your time. The first item on the finance report tonight is budget amendment number 4 for child nutrition funds. If you notice, the budget amendment adjusts the revenue and expenditures for the child nutrition fund to reflect the anticipated actual receipts. Initially, the original budget was factored on $650,000 of revenue and expenditures, and we have far exceeded that. I think the initial estimate was based on more conservative figures, knowing that we were going to the CEP for the first year for all 4 schools. We have already exceeded that revenue by quite a bit, so we have adjusted that to a total projected revenue and expenditure for the year of $1.5 million. We are already just over 1.4. So with 5 more weeks of feeding students in our schools, I project that we will meet those numbers. So this amendment basically adjusts our revenue and expenditures to meet what we anticipate for this school year. Do you have any questions about that amendment?
Any questions? Everybody had a chance to review that. It's in our assembly. If there are no questions, we do need a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. We'll move on to the next one.
Thank you. The next one is budget amendment number 5, and it's for Fund 8. Fund 8 is your other restricted funds, which is mostly grant source income and other funds that are protected for specific purposes. This fund amendment adjusts the budget to reflect additional revenue amounts that are being received for things like Medicaid claims, rental of school property, donations from the Perry Griffin Foundation, and indirect costs that are collected from our federal grant funds that we have through ESSER this year. The expenditure amounts are also being adjusted to reflect the anticipated actual costs for this year. So as you have those additional amounts come in, for example, the Perry Griffin Foundation donations for ROTC trips, you have the corresponding expense for those trips that is also reflected in that fund. So this amendment is adjusting Fund 8 up to a total appropriation of $918,003.89. Do you have any questions about that amendment?
Any questions? Again, everybody's had a chance to review that. If there are no questions, I entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right.
Thank you. Moving on, the next amendment is number 6, State Public School Funds Budget Amendment. Budget Amendment number 6 is presented for your approval and review. It records additional amounts received for the Transportation Department. Summer reading camp funds were received. Additional funds were received for textbooks and digital resources. And there are adjustments to the expense categories in each of those corresponding budgets to match the state totals. So this budget amendment will bring our total state current appropriation to $14,049,812.86. Do you have any questions about those amendments?
Any questions on this one? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion carries.
The final budget amendment for tonight is Fund 2, Local Current Expense Fund Budget Amendment number 7. And this amendment makes adjustments to the local current expense budget. And it is allowing for higher costs in certain payment categories, such as our payments to charter schools, higher utility costs that we have talked about, and the increase in our property insurance costs. So effectively, we are looking at areas where we have savings and moving those funds that are saved in certain categories to the areas of higher cost, like the utility bills and the property insurance bills. So we are aligning the costs with the correct account codes that the money is budgeted to. So the total appropriation for the current local expense budget for amendment number 7 is $4.8 million, as you can see on the attachment. Do you have any questions about that budget amendment?
Any questions? All right, entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion carries.
Thank you. The final item I have is a board approval for the local current expense and capital outlay budget. As you recall, we have already reviewed the draft in detail at our previous meetings, but this draft has been updated to reflect one small revision that was made. And if you will reference page 30 and 32 of the attachment in your online assembly, you will see the changes in the budget chart. Effectively, the tech budget that was initially moved to the local current expense budget was moved back to the capital budget. So page 32 will reflect the same total amount requested from the county. It just reallocates those costs back to the capital budget. After consideration and discussion, we determined that that was the best place to put those costs for next school year. So overall, the total amount is the same, but we need your approval since there is a change to the two different funds. Any questions about that change?
Any questions? All right, I entertain a motion to approve the revision as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. I
Ms.
appreciate
Altman,
it.
the commissioners really appreciated your explanation and your presentation, and one of them told me the pie chart that you had,
Yeah.
they said that was the clearest ever.
Oh,
They
I
loved that.
appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
They liked that.
I'm happy to answer any of their questions. Thank you.
All right, moving on to governance. We'll go to 7B, and this will be Dr. Patrick.
Good evening, board members. At the April meeting, we presented a series of policies for your review and consideration. Bringing those to you tonight for second read and adoption.
Any questions on those? This is second reading. So everybody's had since last meeting to review. If there are no questions, then I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented. Motion?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. And motion carries.
There were some additional policies that came to you for this meeting tonight. I'm going to ask Mr. Rice to come up and discuss those two policies.
So, like I mentioned earlier, we've got a couple of policies that basically need to be moved to the top of the list of the whole policy manual that Dr. Patrick's been sharing with you for these revisions. And these are policies number 9110 and 9120. 9110 is the use and selection of architects, engineers, surveyors, and construction managers at risk, and 9120 is bidding for construction work. Really, we need to bring this to the top of the list now because of the baseball field project getting ready to start. And with our maintenance director running that project, we feel that with some changes to the law and how old our other policy was, we can make things happen a lot quicker without having to have a formal bidding process, public bidding process, and have to advertise and all those things. We still have to get 3 bids or quotes, and they would still be approved by this board, but it doesn't have to have that long time frame on it and all those good things. So, Rachel, if you want to add anything to that.
I've looked at the 2 policy revisions you proposed, and the changes in the thresholds are consistent with the statutes.
Any questions on this? I know I discussed this with Dr. Johnson, and this is just bringing us up current, kind of, as Rachel just said, with current general statutes. So definitely, I think it would have been revised when we had got to it, but because of a lot of construction work that we are going to be starting here soon, especially on the baseball field, it's a good time to make these revisions. So the first thing we'd like to do is waive board policy 1514. And after that, we can approve the revisions as presented. So I'll take a motion to approve board policy 1514.
Motion.
Second. Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Right now, I'll take a motion to approve the board policy changes as to 9110 and 9120.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion carries.
Thank you. Ready to the next one?
Yes.
All right, my next item is about the high school gym and the roof replacement. We've gotten 3 quotes, as you can see in front of you. Hopefully you've got it on your assembly. There was one from ServPro at $96,900. There was one from Truco, which is $121,700, and then Baker, and they were in the 90 range somewhere.
94.
Yes, 94, and that didn't include a lot of stuff that would be added on as they continued. Additionally, ServPro had a second quote for the inside for the ceiling, which that is a separate job, and that one was only $21,000. So ServPro's 2 quotes were actually lower than the other 2 companies, just the roof quote. In addition, ServPro can get started in about a week on this, so where the other ones were about 8 weeks or so out. So this would help us be able to go ahead and get things started and get that taken care of. I did see it comes with a 10-year warranty, so hopefully we'll be.
I was going to mention that 10-year warranty, but we just need 2. I think everybody's had a chance to review all the quotes. So the recommendation is to approve and go with ServPro on the maintenance, or really not maintenance, but fixing the existing gym roof. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. The gym roof is going to get fixed. All right. Moving on, Mr. Gibbs.
I move that the Pamlico County Board of Education enter into closed session to consider confidential student matters as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 20 USC 1232G and GS 115C-402. Confidential personnel matters as provided in NCGS 143-318.11A1, 5 and 6, and 115C-319, and to consult with the Board of Education attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in General Statutes 143-318.11A3.
I have a motion, need a second.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, we'll be going in closed session at 7:37. And I don't have my thing pulled up. I know we, are we good? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the personnel list for action.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, everybody has a chance to look at when our next meeting day. I think our next meeting will be our June meeting. As you heard from our principals and others tonight, there's a lot of activities going on that we can attend if you have a chance to. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. Motion second, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries, we are adjourned.
Got to